if you get yourself caught where you don't really know, right? So if you're in that position where I can't really tell where I stack up, I can't really tell where I fit in on this team. Um, I want to talk about it maybe a little bit for the player, but then even for parents, maybe trying to help their kids get through that type of situation, because I know you've dealt with a few situations just over the years, a lot of situations where parents come asking you to talk to their kid because they're struggling with whatever. So maybe a little bit of advice for that, or from the coaching perspective, like ways that you can, um, this is one I have a hard time with this because I haven't coached, but it's like that your players go through this stuff, right? It just happens on every team at any level. It doesn't even matter what the level is. So maybe some ways to if you're a coach, having your players understand a little bit of the dynamic or what to expect or where they stand or anything like that. Does that kind of make
Yeah,
sense?
no, it makes sense.
No, it's a lot there.
No, it's okay. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Um, well, there's different things, right? Some coaches will take the time and try to help you. Um, and most coaches, especially at the junior level, understand that there could be obstacles in the way that are preventing you from being your absolute best. For example, you are new to the team, new to the league, everything's new, and you just don't know where you fit in. It's like it's all new senses. So let you settle into that, and we'll see how it goes, right? So that's number one. Um, and then once you're in there a little bit, the coaches that communicate and care, they might just pull you in and say, "Okay, Eric, you've been here for 3 days, and I've, you know what we like about you, this, and this, and it looks like you're playing like you. I see some good in it in what you're doing, but we have to step it up, and I want to see one, two, three things that'll help you. I want to see those assets that you have. I want you to relax. Don't worry about making mistakes. I want you to just go out and play, have some fun, and do these things because you need to step up. And that's the message, right? You might have it from a coach that doesn't communicate real well, but it's not necessarily the tone that you have to listen to, it's the message. And if the message is just straight, you need to get to the net, something that simple. Well, that you have to navigate that and figure that out. The message was get to the net. So I would, if I really wanted to make the team, I will get to the net. It might be really ugly too, but you said get to the net. I did it, and there might be blood everywhere, or there might be a mess and a brawl that you have to clean up or something. But I did go to the net. I got your attention now, right? But you have to be able to take those messages and go. So, anyways, a coach, how can you help a guy? It's we're going on the premise that the coach wants to help, but at the end of the day, like I mean, I think so many times we look at coaches like they're the jerk, or they're the big boss guy that I do what I say. But I'm finding more and more that you have coaches that actually do like there's a better understanding of the human and understanding of the age, and when someone's new to things, that they understand that they have to maybe spell something out for them a little bit, and which is good, right? So if you have a coach like that, you got to listen to the message, and do whatever you can to make sure that you take that message and you do it. And then if the guy doesn't communicate, then maybe you know I know that it's hard sometimes, especially if you're a quieter guy or if you're really really nervous. But if you got a guy that doesn't say a whole lot and is very direct, it could be very intimidating to ask the coach, like, Coach, I don't feel like I'm playing at my best right now, and I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, but I haven't been around the puck a whole lot. Is there something that I'm doing? Is there something that you can give me some direction so that I can fix it? And that shows like you want to be there, and the coach will probably give you something. But sometimes the onus does have to be on you. Like, here's the bottom line, right? It's if this is the thing that you really, really want, then it really, as a player, it's really up to you to figure it out. It's not really the coach's job to make sure that you're happy. It's really your job to sort out, sort through the shit and go do it. So if it's an uncomfortable situation or conversation that you just don't want to do, but it's necessary to have, you have to have it. The worst thing that's going to happen is he's going to tell you, well, you're no good. Well, okay, at least I know. right? Or if he says, here's one thing and you do it, then you've actually got accomplished something. It's important. But from the coaches, like, I can't speak for other coaches. I can't. I think it's important that you get the message out to kids, but sometimes they don't. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, so two keys on that I'm going to take. First, for the players, so you have to go, if you have to go ask, even if your coach is an ass. Sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes you just get a shit situation and the coach sucks and it is what it is. But you have to force yourself. You have to force yourself to do those uncomfortable things because it helps you to grow up. And then you can handle more of that later.
Yeah.
Like being able to go and speak to someone like an adult, even when you don't want to, like force yourself to, or go talk to the assistant coach,
I
or
was
like
just going to say that.
like, yeah,
Every team has, sorry to cut you off, but every team has, in the OHL pro and stuff, they have head coach with typically two or more assistant coaches, video coaches, whatever, assistant GMs.
yeah,
There's probably someone there that you have a little bit.
yeah. Find the guy.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And,
Find
and
the guy.
typically your assistant coaches are a little bit more player friendly.
Right.
So if you're a defenseman and your D coach is, you're spending a little bit of time with them, but you're spending a little bit, that would be your guy, is to go to, Eric, Coach Eric, can I bother you for 1 second? Yeah, what's up? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Is there anything that you see I could do or anything I can fix right now? He might not have an answer, but at least you've taken care of that and you showed that you give a shit.
That's right. That's right. So and man, I actually remember having conversations with my dad where my dad was telling me to do this, like go talk to your coach, and me being like, no, I'm not. Yeah. Because I would throw the reason book, I would pull it out and I would say, I already know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say this, 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 and this, and F him because he's an asshole and XYZ treating me like shit, whatever be a baby reason I had. I remember doing it vividly. And then every single time, 2 days later, 3 days later, I would let it marinate, the conversation that we had, and I would go talk to him. And you know what happened? Every single time I felt better. Even if it was nothing really productive. It was just nice to touch base with the coach, even though that barrier to entry was so high. And it was something that helped me be mature as a teenager when I was 17. You're just a kid. So then by the time I was 20, and when I went to the university and I'm dealing with adults, I was an adult. I was an adult, and a lot of my buddies that were on that university team were still little kids because they didn't figure out how to do that part
Right.
when things are difficult, like how to have the tough conversation.
What happens? You go and have a pity party. And you want people to join you,
Absolutely.
but that's not productive.
And I know, and I'd be in a room with a bunch of 24, 25-year-olds or older when I was playing at the university, just like, you guys are babies. Like, we're grown-ups, man. It's not 16 years old playing our first year of junior. It's like, go talk to the guy. Like, go be a man and talk to the guy. And then you'll figure out what the issue is, And so the earlier you can start to make yourself do some of those things that are uncomfortable, the faster you'll be able to just handle those types of situations, So that's really important for your own sake when you're trying to find your place on the team or whatever. It's really important that you can do that. And having said that, going to the coach side of it, I think the most important thing as a coach that you can do when you're giving a player advice, this is something that I would have really loved to have, was be as specific as possible with what you actually want your player to do. Because a lot of times they just throw out like meaningless nothing statements where it's like, you have to just keep working, man. It'll come. Like, keep working. And it's like, that's nice.
Help.
That's positive encouragement. So that is for whatever that's worth. But you're not giving them something that they can specifically do. It's like assuming everyone works hard, which most kids, by the time they get to a certain level, are all trying their best. It's like, this kid is missing something specific. Tell him what it is, at least from what you see, because the next guy that comes in to ask you what he needs to do, his thing should be different. It shouldn't just be just work harder to everyone. It's like, now that doesn't mean anything, So one thing that could really help kids, like the example you said, get to the net. Just go there. When I'm a kid, like, that's very understandable. Get to the net. Okay, I'm going to kick it wide, go to the net. That's all I'm going to do. Because that's a specific job I can now do, and that was something that
even if you, the thing with that is, if you kick it, like for that example, even if you're deep, you kick it wide and you drive to the net, you've actually taken, like, there's never anything wrong with that. And what happens now is that the guy with the puck, not that you want to make him screw up, it's not the point of this, but if he makes a play that isn't the smartest play, or doesn't make turns it over, whatever. That example might be used like you had a guy going to the net. Do
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, and that was you, that you did something to,
Right.
you created it. This guy did something good. Like, you get noticed,
Right.
right? And if
Yeah.
you go to the net on, and it's, I know it sounds like it's actually very simple. Like, of course you go to the net, but if you really watch a game, and if you like really watch a game at all levels, and you find the guy that goes to the net hard consistently, like, it's not the easiest thing to find.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a scary place to be, man. It's
Yeah,
hard to get
but
there.
a guy that actually kicks it wide and drives to the net with a purpose and
Yeah.
takes a D with them, actually go to a game and try to find
Yeah.
that guy. You might find one or two guys a
Mhm.
game that are consistent at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, everyone wants to be F3, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know?
And just turn the page now, flip the page, and find that guy that back checks as hard as he went to the net,
Yeah.
or someone that has that desire to defend as much as the desire to put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
That you become very, very, you stand out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a thing, right? Finish all hits or whatever, but like going to the net, that's something that, I mean, when guys do it consistently, they stand out.
Yeah, and so, like, that's my whole point on that is, like, whether if you're the coach from the coaching side, give them a specific thing. If it is go to the net, or if it is you better be in the corner every shift, or you're not playing. Even if you say it like that, I'm not going to play you unless you're in the corner every shift. So find your way to get there. That's specific. And now if the player doesn't do that, that's on them now, because you at least have told them. And then from the player side, you have to find the specific thing too. If your coach doesn't give it to you, go talk to the assistant coach. Ask them in video. Ask whoever you can ask. Figure out what the actual job is. It's not just work hard. Or if they say like you have to get your feet moving, it's like that doesn't. I don't know what that
No, those are
means.
just
Like
a
what does
bunch of
that mean?
words.
Like tell me specifically. So if you're the player, find out what that actual thing is. Find out what the thing is, or a couple things that that your coach wants you to do, right? Because even if it's not something that you think is part of your game, that's what your coach wants you to do. So if you can get that answer, now you can have something that you can work on, because it's a real job that you can do. It's an action that you can take. It's not just a general vague statement that doesn't mean anything, you know?
Yeah, like if you haven't made contact, like go to your way. Go to your
Seriously.
way. No, seriously,
Exaggerate it.
go to your
Yeah.
way and say, like, because you do a little bit of a late hit a couple times, everybody will notice,
Hmm.
and then at least the coach could say, "Okay, Eric, slow down a little bit. You're acting a little bit. I know you're horny right now, but like settle down."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you saw what I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not to have negative press, but it's you want some
Yeah.
attention. Because if you go at the end of a shift, you say, "Yeah, I don't know, you got a few shifts. I didn't really notice them tonight." That's not good.
Right. Yeah.
Necessarily.
Well, because and then that's how you get to the point where you feel like your coach doesn't even
Yeah.
know you're on the bench.
Right.
Right. Which
Yeah.
you talked about that before. It's like, do you even know that I'm here? It's like, well, you haven't made yourself known
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So they still know you're there, but they don't have to pay attention to you. You're not doing anything good or bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's